For those of you who like to homebrew, you know how tough it is to design dungeons that are thematic and unique and story-driven, and most importantly, fun. I've certainly tried making my own little dungeons before, and once I get past designing like 5 or so rooms, I start to hit a creative wall. And that is where the latest 5e book from Cubicle 7 comes in. Uncharted Dungeons is your creative companion when you're designing dungeons for your campaigns, helping you make dungeon crawls that are both tactically and strategically interesting and narratively rich. And it also gives you new player roles, delving rules, and GM tools to enhance your dungeon crawls. In this paid Kickstarter preview, we'll take a closer look at what to expect, and we'll talk about Cubicle 7's other 5e books also on offer during the campaign, including Uncharted Journeys, which brings the same treatment to your overland travels. Check out the full campaign page anytime at the link in the corner or down below. So, gather your party as we explore Uncharted Dungeons. Any dungeon delve that isn't tackled by a group of barbarians should probably begin with a bit of research. Uncharted Dungeons goes in-depth in all sorts of dungeons, and there's one you can check out for yourself right now for free. On the Kickstarter page, there's a free preview of the book that goes over how to put together a draconic temple. Now, during the research phase, your party can do a series of checks to learn about the history of the dungeon, what sort of threats they're likely to face there, and what they need to bring to have the best survival odds. The book will help you run that research phase. Plus, it'll help you connect your dungeon to the larger story that you're trying to tell with possible adventure hooks. Adventurers might infiltrate a draconic temple to free or judge a captive dragon, steal or safeguard a priceless clutch of eggs, claim a long-standing bounty, plunder its boundless hordes, help a displaced clan reclaim their ancestral home despite rival mercenaries guarding the place, rescue a kidnapped ally before they become dragon chow, or beat a power-hungry foe, perhaps even a lich, to the temple's forbidden scholarly lore. The book will also show you how to fit your dungeon into the broader context of your campaign. For example, the Draconic Temple can serve as anything from a climactic endpoint of a long-running story, complete with a far-reaching cult, ominous foreshadowing, there's a steadily escalating encounters, to a tense mid-level infiltration where the party slides in, nabs a vital item, and escapes before they're burned alive. It explores how side plots and cult activities, regional politics, and even targeted killings of draconic-blooded NPCs can enrich the narrative long before the players even see the temple walls, while also offering ways to subvert expectations, such as revealing that the dragon is a prisoner rather than a tyrant, and that its suffering ties into an even larger prophecy threatening the world. Finally, we get to actually building our dungeon. I appreciate that the book starts on a very high macro level, helping us figure out how the dungeon fits into our broader context of the world and the story and the campaign that we're running. That makes actually building it out so much easier. We start with location, and this is where we get to some very detailed rolling tables like this. Though instead of rolling, I would personally read through them and take the ideas that work for my story and alter them as I see fit. But having a bunch of detailed ideas to build from is much easier than starting from a blank slate. Once you choose a location, you have similar tables for the dramatic entrance to the dungeon and the environment inside. Inside the dungeon, it might be sweltering with the dragon's heat seeping through the walls, choking with greasy smoke that clings to the ceiling, thrumming with an eerie draconic chant that seeps into your thoughts, littered with old scales that give the place a strange shimmering menace, or echoing with the deep rumbling snores of a slumbering worm somewhere deep in the dark. Next, we need to decide who's living in the dungeon, whether it's a zealous kobold clan fluttering around in little makeshift wings or little wizard hats, a cabal maybe of dragon-worshipping cultists conducting grim rituals. That's what you typically find in those kind of places. Maybe a band of knights running a deadly tournament in the dragon's honor. Maybe you have bugbears prowling the halls in scavenged armor, or a ruthless clan of salamanders serving the worm while plotting to claim its hoard for themselves. After settling on the dungeon's inhabitants, you can spice up the crawl with the strange, deadly, and sometimes even downright whimsical traps that define a draconic lair. The book offers options ranging from chambers filled with transmutation fumes that warp a hero's defenses, to corridors belching odd-smelling gas that clings to adventurers like eat me signs for the hungry reptiles inside, to bone and tile freezes that spring to life as magical tests of draconic lore. Some rooms challenge the party with shifting mosaics of dragon scales that punish anyone who steps out of sync, while the most dangerous traps confront intruders with a spectral horde that curses anyone who decides to touch it, warping them into half-dragon echoes of themselves until they can shake the enchantment. These tricks give the dungeon its personality, letting you decide whether the temple feels mystical or malicious or playful or just plain mean. It's up to you. You do you. The book also gives you the option of having the party members pick roles for themselves that help define their responsibility in the delve. You have options like the Breacher, the Trap Seeker, the Map Maker, and the Treasure Hunter that come with new abilities and gives everyone something to do besides just your poor rogue who is looking for and disarming traps over and over and over again while everybody else stands to the side. The system adds a new layer to how your players can plan their strategy and solve problems in the dungeon. So that should give you some idea of what Uncharted Dungeons has to offer, though honestly, we're just scratching the surface here. But the rest of the Cubicle 7 5e collection is also on offer here, so I wanted to briefly tell you about each of those. You can find more information about them on the campaign page or over at cubicle7.com. Now, Uncharted Journeys transforms travel into real adventures, giving you structured roles and hazards and flavorful encounters that make every trip feel meaningful. A Life Well Lived expands the game beyond dungeon crawls by offering life paths and downtime systems and long-term character development that deepens your story and character development. Hammer and Anvil introduces a full crafting engine that lets players forge and customize equipment, including magical items, in ways that actually matter at the table. Mortar and Pestle delves into alchemy with rules for brewing potions and poisons and volatile mixtures, plus ingredient gathering and the occasional explosive mishap. Broken Weave reimagines 5e in a haunting post-apocalyptic world where reality decays and the last sparks of hope shape the fate of your characters and their community. Uncharted Journeys is really the companion book to this one. It gives 5e tables a way to turn "we travel for 2 weeks" into a living, breathing part of the campaign instead of a throwaway montage and random meaningless encounters. It hands players clear roles, again, that actually matter: leader, outrider, quartermaster, sentry, so everyone has something meaningful to do on the road using their abilities in fresh ways that feed both the mechanics and the narrative. The journey rules add tension, resource management, surprises, and consequences that can ripple into the story rather than feeling like filler. Encounters become character beats, not just obstacles, and the book's tools for people you meet, ancient ruins you uncover, and biomes you cross help the table discover new story hooks while still empowering the GM to improvise. It makes travel feel like part of the tale you're telling, not a delay before the real adventure, and that shift quietly reshapes a campaign into something richer and more character-driven. So let me give you a brief look at the pledge tiers, though keep in mind that things can sometimes change between the time I film these videos and when the campaign goes live, so be sure to check out that campaign page up there for the official information. You can get the digital PDF version of Uncharted Dungeons for $30. For $60, you can get the physical and digital versions of the book. You can get all 6 of those books digitally for $144, or all the physical and digital books for $249. You can also build your own pledge with add-ons if you want to pick and choose which books you want. A few things to keep in mind: Kickstarter isn't a store. You are funding the creation of a new product, so you won't get your books right away. Check out the campaign page for delivery and shipping information, and remember that shipping is generally charged at a later time. There's always a bit of risk involved with Kickstarters as well, but this is from Cubicle 7, and it is far from their first rodeo, so I think you're in good hands. Be sure to read through the entire campaign page to decide if it's right for you. Uncharted Dungeons is going to be a lot of fun and super useful for folks who like to craft their own experiences for their players. Even if you don't want to use a prompt verbatim, having this 200+ page resource of ideas from industry veterans gives you some really good templates to build off of. I'm excited to see the final product. If you have any questions, let me know down below. I'm Theo, and you can find more of my reviews of minis, adventures, and more over at The Gallant Goblin on YouTube. For now, please stay safe, have fun, love each other, and I'll see you next time at The Gallant Goblin.